Hi guys, and welcome to City Bright. So today we have a really exciting interview planned. We're going to be interviewing Kathy Morenzi. She is a personal trainer, an author, a blogger, and a presenter. She's been doing this for 30 years. She has so much knowledge and wisdom in the area of, health and fitness and the spiritual side of that. So we are so excited to jump into this interview.
Kathy, thank you so much for being here. You want to just tell us a little bit about yourself?
My name is Kathy Morenzi, and I'm the president and the founder of a company. It's called Weight Loss God's Way, and we help women understand why they keep spiraling in unhealthy weights and help them get to the root of it so they can be free and enjoy the life that God's called them to live. Essentially, that's what we do.
Amazing. I love that. I love that. So where can they find you if they want to go on and say, oh, that sounds exactly like what I've been looking for? How can they find you?
They can find us at www.weightlossgodsway.com. We also have a Bible app on YouVersion. So if you plug in 21-day Weight Loss God's Way Challenge, you can also find it on the Bible app. And YouTube and Facebook, weightlossgodsway.com.
Very good.
Yeah, that's so awesome. And I'm just really curious, what made you want to launch this ministry? How did that kind of begin?
My own struggles, my own frustration, my own unhappiness, really. It started off pretty selfish, where it was to fix me. And to my surprise, God had a lot bigger plans than me fixing me. And so it's been able to help thousands of other women also.
Yeah, that's so incredible. I love that.
And you say that, and I think as women, that's something that every single one of us can identify, whether it's, self-esteem or your body image, whether you think, you're too big or you're too skinny or, you're not this, you're not that. At some point, we all struggle with feeling like we're not good enough. We don't look a certain way. We just, I love your message because you talk about the health and the wellness part of it, but what sets you apart from so many other health and weight loss programs is that you bring it back to an issue that has to do with finding out who God made you to be and letting Him fill that void and speak identity over you and speak to that just a little bit.
It really is a heart issue. It comes back to heart. You always got to start with heart, I say. And until you know who God created you to be, you're going to identify with who society says you should be. You're going to identify with your ex said you should be with. And so until you get grounded, then it's going to be hard for you to accept yourself. It's going to be hard for you to want to take care of yourself because you just don't have that love. And so when you can connect to the source and know who you are in Christ, then you want to take care of your body, right? You'll want to glorify God with your body.
Yeah,
so that's the message that we share.
So good.
yeah, so true. I think you spoke so much about there's just kind of a thing behind the thing.
Yeah, exactly.
There's always something deeper.
Exactly.
And I love that you spoke to that, especially like Krista said, for women particularly. I know you speak to both men and women, but for women particularly, that can be such an issue, and it's an incredible ministry that you're doing.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, we've got to go deeper. It's not what we see, this whole makeup, clothes.
Yeah.
There's so much more,
Absolutely.
and we can try to cover it up as much as we want, but we got to be with ourselves at the end of the day when the makeup comes off and the nice clothes comes off,
Yeah.
So we've got to deal with the inside first.
Yeah.
And even I'm thinking as you're speaking, I have 3 young girls. And so if I'm not telling them, that their identity and their self-worth and the way that they, receive love, if I'm not telling them that starts with God and really God alone, and then they don't find their identity in that, then the culture is going to start telling them that they will never be enough.
Absolutely.
And it's very hard. So I love that your message is really counteracting all of the negativity and the pressure that culture and society puts on young girls. It starts from a very early age.
Oh, yes.
And I love that you're just saying, find out who God called you to be. And something you spoke about today in our session, you said that a lot of times the enemy will use these things, sometimes physical or mental things, to keep you from fulfilling the greater purpose that God has for you. Talk about that just a little bit.
Well, the enemy knows your weaknesses too, right? So we know them. And sometimes we hide from them, but he knows them and he'll use them against us. And so when we can share even just like this, we take away his ammunition, right? Because a lot of the times the enemy wants to isolate us. And so when he's alone, then he can start whispering, you're not good enough. You're not, all that chatter, that self-talk that we hear when we look in the mirror. And so when we can expose his lies, when we can get accountability, when we can talk, we expose his schemes, and then he can't whisper to us anymore because we're like, we heard that story, been there, done that, it doesn't work. So know that there is an enemy, and he wants to come after what God has for us, and we've got to just shut him right down.
I love that your message is so much about freedom. You focus so much on freedom, and that's something that is so much a part of my heart as well. And it's incredible. It's incredible that you focus so much on that, and that there is an enemy that doesn't want you to be free, And so I think it's important to acknowledge that,
Yeah. I speak so much on that because I was so bound. Like, oh my goodness, I couldn't think, I couldn't talk, I couldn't do anything without feeling this burden. And it reflected in my relationships, it reflected in so much that feeling of just can't do what I want, can't live the life that I want. I had to do what everyone else says and try to please everyone else. So it was just such a bondage. And I'm like, this is ridiculous, And so it's only through the grace of God, through studying his word, that I'm learning to just to be myself. In the past, if I'd be sitting here now, I'd be so self-conscious and, oh my gosh, this is how do I look? What are you guys going to say? Well, like that used to just plague me, right? And now I'm like, it is what it is. This is me. So there's a big acceptance that comes with that freedom, and it's such a good feeling.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So for you, what do you think are like your top 3 tips, not just, the physical side of things for health, but also maybe even spiritual, whatever comes to your mind? What are the top 3 tips for maybe a man or a woman out there that's saying, I just want to get it together this year, I want to stay on top of this, and maybe they're falling off the wagon a little bit, and they're just like, I just want to get back on this. What are your tips for that?
I'll see if I can do 3. I think I'll try.
You can have
you can have more, yeah.
Well, let me think of the top one. Let me think of the top ones that I do. Maybe that'll be helpful. So one tip is to start with a good morning routine. Like start your day in prayer, giving your day to God. Get some activity into your morning. Get some water into your morning. Get your brain going. Right? So that, have a good morning routine. And so my morning routine is get out of bed, get some lemon water, get to my devotion time, and then get some activity. So that's, if you can develop a good morning routine, that'll set the course for your day. Number 2 is get to know yourself. I would say get to know your body. People are always asking, what's the best diet? What should I do? What you need and what I need are very different. So I would say start to get to know yourself. How did your body feel when you ate that food? Did you feel good? Did you feel sleepy? Did you, was your stomach bloated? When you can understand your body, then you can give your body what it needs, and then you can kind of tune out all the other, this new diet, that new diet, that new diet comes around. Number 3, I would say set a vision. That would be important. Set a vision, set a goal, write it down. Because one, you forget, you're going to forget what the goal is. And when you're standing in the line at McDonald's, you're going to need something motivating to remember, okay, here's why I'm here. So set a goal, write your goal down, keep checking. Don't just write it and tuck it away. I would say write a goal and keep moving towards the goal. Yeah, those would be my 3.
Okay, I'm going to follow up with your first tip and just ask you, because I feel like there may be some young moms out there watching saying, I really try to have a good morning routine.
Right.
But it's really hard in the season with young kids. And the earlier I get up, it's like the devil wakes my kids up,
Yeah.
And so what would you say to those people who maybe just feel discouraged because they're like, well, I can't start my morning off right, so I might as well not even try. Did you ever go through a season like that where you just have to kind of make time for it when you can have time for
Absolutely,
it?
absolutely. And it's going to be a different seasons.
Right.
I was sharing, this is the first time in my life where I'm free. My son just left. But when my son was little, it would be 5-minute bathroom time, right?
Yeah.
Like that would be it, is I get 5 minutes in the bathroom. And so exercise was just playing with him. It wasn't necessarily, I couldn't get to the gym with
Right.
him. That would be, okay, we're going to dance, we're going to play now. You know, my devotion time would be again in the bathroom,
Yeah.
you know, or whenever I can get in a few minutes here or there. So yeah, your routine's going to look very different
Right.
depending on what stage. And I always say, what stage of your life are you in? So it's going to be a season where your time is for your kids, right? That's the season. So exercise might not be up there where you got an hour to go to the gym,
Right.
but you're going to know that there's going to come a
Yeah.
season where you can give yourself more time. So operate in the season and don't try to get too, you know, legalistic about, I
Give
got to
yourself some
do.
grace in
Of
that.
course,
area.
of course.
Don't
Yeah.
get discouraged.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so great. And there is so much more that we can say. I mean, Kathy has some wonderful, amazing, and there was so much wisdom in what you shared earlier.
Amen.
And I started thinking about things in a way that I've never thought about them before. So you have books, you have, like she said, there's a YouTube channel. There are all these ways that you can get connected with Kathy and her ministry.
Yeah.
And we can link that below.
Yeah,
We can
absolutely.
link that information.
That'd be great.
And if you want to know more, because we just barely had time to skim the surface today, but I love your message. I love what God is doing through you.
Amen.
I love the freedom that is coming with what God is doing. And so I encourage you guys to check that out. Check out Kathy Morenzi and the ministry.
Yeah, and I love, you know, that when you teach, you don't teach in an intimidating way or somebody that might not be, you know, as active as they want to be or as fit as they think they
Right.
should be or whatever it is. They don't feel like they have to be intimidated by you. You're very, you know, into, you can tell that you're just believing that grace there, you know, and that, you know, there's different seasons. So nobody feel intimidated.
Yes.
She's
Right.
super down to earth and incredible,
Oh,
and
thank you.
I just love learning from you.
Yeah.
So
Oh, bless your heart.
Awesome.
Very good.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for being here with us today.
My pleasure.
we really appreciate that.
Pleasure.
Well, thank you guys so much for watching today. We hope that you enjoyed this interview with Kathy Morenzi. I know that I learned so much. If you want to learn more about Kathy and anything that she does with her ministry, you can check out the description below. We'll put all the links there, and you can follow along with her. But thank you guys so much for watching Cedar Bright, and we'll see you in the next video.
Bye, guys.